Alright, let's dive into this with all the intensity and urgency you need. Let's rip away those old layers of belief and start from scratch, building something powerful, something that'll make your skin tingle with possibility. Now take a deep breath. Let's start breaking down those beliefs. The stuff you've been carrying around like a bag of bricks. You've got these thoughts, these deep-rooted ideas about money, work, value, your own worth. Your fear of failure. You're not alone in this. But it's time to wake the fuck up and realise you've been tricked, misled, and more importantly, stuck. It's time to break free, and here's how. Let's break the illusion of money and work. Your parents worked minimum wage jobs, right? They told you money was rare, that it was hard as hell to get, or that you should be grateful for any shitty job that lets you survive. They made you think money was something to be feared, like it would slip through your fingers if you didn't lock it down with sweat and pain. Well, guess what? That's a lie. It's a massive scam that's been pulled on you. You were taught to slave away, to hustle for crumbs, while your spirit withered away. And now, that belief is keeping you in a loop of scarcity, constantly worrying, doubting, and burning out. But guess what? That's not reality. That's just a mindset that's been handed to you. Here's the truth. Money is just a tool. It's not scarce. It's not something that will just disappear into thin air. It's a result of value. You create value, you get paid, period. It's not about working yourself to death. It's about understanding your value and using your energy smartly to create what you want. How to change your money mindset by chunking down. First off, let's chunk down. Look at the details. When you're stuck in fear and scarcity, it's easy to think everything, it's either a hit or a miss. But when you chunk down, you start breaking it into manageable steps. First step, understand your value. You need to own your value. It's not about money for money's sake. It's about what you bring to the table. What skills, insights, or solutions do you have that others don't? For instance, maybe you're great at fixing things, solving problems, or understanding people. That's value. The more value you can offer, the more money you'll make. But it's not about grinding yourself into the ground. The second step, stop believing in scarcity. Scarcity thinking, it's like trying to breathe in a vacuum. It's going to drain you dry. Start recognizing that money is energy. And just like any other kind of energy, it flows. It's a resource that's constantly circulating. There's more than enough to go around. But it needs to be attracted to you by value, confidence, and alignment with your own purpose. Final step, control your mindset. Let's chunk down your fear of poverty. Start by catching those moments when you think, I can't afford this, or I'll never make it. Because that thought is the poison. It's the part that keeps you stuck in the hamster wheel. What if instead of focusing on fear, you focused on how you could make it happen? What steps would you take if you knew you couldn't fail? It might feel uncomfortable, but that's where the growth is. Now, what would happen if you believed differently? What would your life be like if you believed that money flows easily to you because of the value you bring, the energy you carry, and the mindset you cultivate? You wouldn't be chasing crumbs, constantly fearing you're not enough or that you're stuck in a dead-end job. Instead, you'd feel powerful. You'd feel like you could open your hand and receive what you need when you need it. You'd see opportunities everywhere instead of barriers. Addressing the core of your beliefs. Lack of worth. Let's get into the core beliefs. You were raised to believe that a man's worth was tied to his ability to provide. If you didn't have the cash, you weren't good enough. That idea got so deeply embedded in your subconscious. It's been pulling the strings of your actions. But let me tell you straight, that's bullshit. Your worth is not determined by your paycheck or the car you drive. Your worth is intrinsic. It's who you are as a person. Your integrity, your spirit, your ability to show up as yourself, broken or whole. So stop measuring your worth by the wrong metric. Pacing and leading, the ultimate trick to build confidence. This is how you start changing the game. Pacing. Recognize the beliefs you've been holding. You've been pacing in the same old circle, thinking you're not enough. So start by acknowledging your fears. Yeah, I feel scared about money, about my worth, about not being able to provide. That's your pacing. You're not ignoring it. You're meeting it head on, face to face. Leading. Once you've paced, it's time to lead. You lead yourself to a new belief. I'm worthy of abundance and success. You start telling yourself, I don't need to kill myself for money. I don't need to burn out to survive. I'm worthy just as I am. You lead yourself out of the fear and scarcity mindset bit by bit. Start to recognize the world doesn't revolve around a paycheck. Interrupting the old patterns. Wake the fuck up. Here's the kicker. You've been running these old programs, these fears, these limiting beliefs. And let's be real. They're draining the life out of you. The pattern is simple. Work hard, struggle, fail. Feel unworthy, repeat. And this cycle needs to be broken. So how do you interrupt this pattern? You do it by taking action in small, bold steps. If you don't feel worthy, fake it until you make it. Start with the belief that you have value to offer. Break the patterns by recognizing when you fall into old thinking. Then stop yourself and start thinking differently. The energy of fear and lack. Here's the kicker about fear. It's contagious. When you stay in fear, you attract more fear. You can't let fear control you any longer. When you feed the fear, it multiplies like feeding a monster that gets bigger and bigger, swallowing all your energy, your potential. But when you shift your mindset, when you choose to believe in abundance and opportunity, that energy will shift. The law of attraction, hell yeah, it's real. But it's not some mystical woo-woo thing. It's about aligning your beliefs with the actions you take. When you believe you're worthy of success, the world responds. So what's next? Time to own it. Right now. You've got the blueprint. The key to breaking free from your past is to start believing differently, to own your value. Step out of the scarcity mindset and start building your confidence and self-worth with every single action that you take. Your past is not your future. What you've seen doesn't have to be the way you live. If your father slaved away and lived miserably, don't repeat his mistakes. Find your own path. That's the only way forward. Are you going to stay stuck feeling like shit? Or are you going to break free and show the world exactly who you are, what you can do, and what you're worth? You're not weak. You're not broken. You're a fucking powerhouse waiting to explode. Now go out there and create the life that you deserve.